Hey, and gobble gobble, I guess. Welcome to a new episode of Let's Wikipedia. And the topic of today is Thanksgiving. And therefore we will have a look at the history and also at current traditions concerning Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving Day is a national holiday celebrated in Canada and the United States. It was originally celebrated as a day of giving thanks for the blessing of the harvest and of the preceding year. Thanksgiving is celebrated on the second Monday of October in Canada and on the fourth Thursday of November in the United States. Several other places around the world observe similar celebrations. And apparently these celebrations are always at different days in the year. So maybe the harvest was always at different times, or we will have a look on the history of Thanksgiving in a second. Although Thanksgiving has historical roots in religious and cultural traditions, it has long been celebrated in a secular manner as well. And in case you're also not sure what secular means, it just means that it's separated from the religion. So let's have a look at the history of Thanksgiving. Prayers of thanks and special Thanksgiving ceremonies are common among almost all religions after harvest and other times. Of course, in earlier days, harvest was very important because it meant you have enough to eat and you can survive the winter, or you're doomed for a very cold time and maybe have it really hard to survive in times when there was not a supermarket open like 24/7 at every corner. And the Thanksgiving holiday's history in North America is rooted in English traditions dating from the Protestant Reformation. It also has aspects of a harvest festival, even though the harvest in New England occurs well before the late November date, on which the modern Thanksgiving holiday is celebrated. And let's jump down a little bit to the history in the United States. In the United States, the modern Thanksgiving holiday tradition is commonly, but not universally, traced to a sparsely documented 1621 celebration at Plymouth in present-day Massachusetts. And this Thanksgiving was prompted by a good harvest. Pilgrims and Puritans, who began emigrating from England at the time, carried the tradition of days of fasting and days of Thanksgiving to New England. But the practice of holding an annual harvest festival did not become a regular affair in New England until the late 1660s. And let's jump a little bit to the future. As President of the United States, George Washington proclaimed the first nationwide Thanksgiving celebration in America, marking November 26 in the year of 1789, a day of public thanksgiving and prayer to be observed by acknowledging with grateful hearts the many and signal favors of Almighty God. And in modern times, the President of the United States will pardon a turkey which spares the bird's life and ensures that it will spend the duration of its life roaming freely on farmland. So one lucky turkey can have a happy life. So when it comes to the date of this holiday, the earlier Thanksgiving celebrations in Canada has often been attributed to the earlier onset of winter in the north, thus ending the harvest season earlier, which in my opinion would make a lot of sense. And Thanksgiving in Canada did not have a fixed date until the late 19th century. But much as in Canada, also Thanksgiving in the United States was observed on various dates throughout history. From the time of the founding fathers until the time of Lincoln, the date Thanksgiving was observed varied from state to state. So the final Thursday in November had become the customary date in most US states by the beginning of the 19th century. And it was first celebrated on the same date by all states in 1863 by a presidential proclamation of Abraham Lincoln. And actually this was an attempt to foster a sense of American unity between the northern and southern states at that time. So let's jump 1-2 centuries in the future and let's have a look at the present day celebrations. In the United States, certain kinds of food are traditionally served at Thanksgiving meals. Turkey, usually roasted and stuffed, but sometimes also deep fried instead, is typically the featured item of any Thanksgiving fest table. So much that Thanksgiving is colloquially known as Turkey Day. There's actually an own Wikipedia article just about a turkey fryer, which is some very interesting contraption. I've never seen something like that in person. In fact, 45 million turkeys were consumed on Thanksgiving Day alone in 2015. 45 million. So if we assume that there's approximately 320 people in the States, it means that it's like one turkey for 7 people. Which is actually even more amazing if you think that nowadays a lot of people are vegetarian or vegan. So around 85% of Americans are partaking in the meal. And they're spending around $1 billion on turkeys. Mashed potatoes with gravy, sweet potatoes, cranberry sauce, sweet corn, various fall vegetables, squash and pumpkin pie are commonly associated with Thanksgiving dinner. Green bean casserole was introduced in 1955 and remains a favorite. The casserole looks nice. Green beans, cream of mushrooms. I'm slowly getting hungry. All of these are actually native to the Americas or were introduced as a new food source to the Europeans when they arrived. So Turkey may be an exception to that. Other traditions apart from the Thanksgiving dinner include parades, like the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in New York City, charity work, like helping poor people with giving them free food, American football games, which are probably for many people very important. There's traditionally always an NFL game played on Thanksgiving, running around in turkey costumes, although I don't think this is a real tradition, and a lot of television specials, radio specials, and also vacation and travel. So family and friends are usually gathering together for having these large meals or dinners, so it's also one of the busiest travel periods of the year. So actually, as a European who never had a proper Thanksgiving dinner, I learned quite a lot and I got quite a bit hungry from these Wikipedia articles, and maybe at some time in the future I will have like a proper Thanksgiving dinner. So thanks a lot for watching, listening, and see ya in the next one. Gobble gobble gobble.